Coach, I know it wasn't perfect, but Parker came out there and got 6 outs and got out of a little bit of jam there. What did you kind of take away from, especially those first couple innings, and also how y'all were able to respond tonight after those 2 losses?
Um, we wanted to give Parker a chance to start his own innings, and he's been a starter most of his life. He's got one of the better arms on our staff, and trying to get out there and get comfortable, get some innings under him where, lately it feels like every time we put him in, there's runners in scoring position and the game's on the line. And so we just wanted to get him some work out there. I thought his arm looked good. We got to throw more strikes, but he was able to respond and get outs and get out of innings. They didn't hit him. And it was a tough situation. I mean, that as it started to rain, it got tougher and tougher to pitch. So I was pleased with him, and I was happy with the way our guys came out and responded today. They've been great all week in practice. We've had good practice. We had a good energy tonight. We'll probably have a really good practice tomorrow too.
Steve?
Coach, you're able to get Spencer Price in there. Could be his last appearance on a Dirty Noble Field mound. He gets a strike out to kind of end it. How important was it to get him some work, and how cool was it for him to have that moment?
Yeah, we knew it was getting close there, and he was a good matchup for us too because we needed the breaking ball. So getting him back, he hadn't pitched in a couple weeks, so getting him back out there and giving him the opportunity to toe the rubber was huge for him.
Tyler?
Chris, obviously you've had a couple of days to kind of dissect what happened against Missouri and then look at some of the other SEC games of the weekend as well. Some teams playing on Sunday after you guys finish up on Saturday. So just kind of going into this last week of the regular season, what's the mindset of your guys? And, have you talked about scenarios about how things can play out, looking at RPI, looking at the standings and whatnot? Or I know you take it game by game, but this is the last series. So obviously all the outcomes kind of come to a head.
I may be wrong, but I don't think there's a coach in our league who sits down and lays out the scenarios. It's too much. I mean, it's just too much for him. And I know I'm old school maybe, and it's coach speak, but literally I just spoke to the team, and it's a good practice so that we can play good baseball this weekend. And let's get Friday night or Thursday night and take care of it. And I know it's a big deal to everybody else, but we really can't control any of that. I didn't watch a game. I peeked at the Georgia score on Sunday because I knew that one affected us, but I was sick to my stomach. So I worked in the yard and I ran errands and I watched the Hunger Games, the whole trilogy, I think, because I just couldn't watch college baseball on Sunday because I was sick. And so our focus is on, Thursday night, playing a great game in Alabama. If we play good baseball, man, we usually have success. And that's kind of the mindset of our group right now.
Steve?
So came out there and had a pretty good inning for you. And, what does that say about his availability for the weekend? He slide back into Sunday. What were your thoughts about where he stands right now?
We just wanted to go out there and have a good, clean inning. He didn't pitch this weekend and try to give him a little time off because he's taken a pretty good load for a freshman. And this was kind of like a bullpen for him. We knew he was only going to throw 10 to 15, 18 pitches. And I was really pleased with his stuff tonight. He had good stuff. Fastball was good. And we'll reassess him and look at how he can help us win this weekend. I don't know what we're doing yet on the weekend.
Robbie?
Coach, a lot of times by this point in the season, you kind of know what your lineup is, who's in the field, your pitching staff and all that, but you're still having to, get different guys in different positions. We're seeing Kellum Clark jump in there now. Where do you feel like everything is in that regard? Where in the left field and the infield and all that, do you feel like you're settling in or something, or you still have a lot of question marks there?
I think we're settling in on a rotation. That's what I think. It depends on – I went with a little bigger lineup tonight because this afternoon when we looked at it, the wind was blowing out pretty good to left. Now, the weather changed that. Once the weather came in, we weren't expecting that weather. But there's going to be other lineups where Tanner Leggett's playing third and doing – and I'm trying to keep, we just kind of decided as a coaching staff that however we best match up that night. And it could be because it's Thursday night and there's a great pitcher, we got to be more defensive, or it could be a Sunday and we got to be more offensive or whatever it might be. Maybe one team hits more ground balls or bunts or runs. So we're just trying to take it. We feel like most of the positions are good, but that left field, DH, third base, we have some rotation going on in there right now.
Similarly to, I guess, your bullpen, we saw Eric Sarantola come in last week and get an inning, and it seems like the last few opportunities he's gotten, he's had a pretty clean inning or so. Do you feel like he can factor into things late in the year?
I do. I mean, if he's in the zone like he was on Saturday, I think he could help us out. We all know he's got a power arm and he's done it before, so he could be a real X factor down the stretch.
Tyler?
Kind of going off of Robbie's first question, we've seen Cam come out of the infield, and in those situations, I think he's been the DH pretty much every time. But he's been hitting number 3 in every game that he's played. Kind of struggling a little bit right now. He'd probably be the first to say that. Have you thought about maybe shuffling the batting order, moving him down, moving Luke and Logan up? That they've been hitting the ball pretty well.
We've talked about some different scenarios. It's just, every guy in our lineup, it ebbs and flows, and Cam's on the downside right now and struggling a little bit just in the last handful of games. And but man, when you look back and we've played good, man, he has been in the middle of it. And when you're looking at a run late, I just, Cameron James has had so many huge hits this year for us, and what he does, and right now probably punching out a little too much, but usually he gets his walks, he moves the lineup, he gets a runner in from third with less than 2 outs. And, that 3-hole to me is that guy that moves the lineup better than anybody. I mean, in our lineup, our top hitter, our hottest hitter is Tanner Allen. He hits the 2-hole, but being able to continue that lineup, and Cameron steals too. So there's a piece of it, but there's some of that could happen. I mean, we're going to have to evaluate that and play the hot hand right now. I just hate making too many moves on a team that I don't want to overreact to, Friday and Saturday, because we've had that group's had that lineup's been pretty good in the SEC all year.
And just real quickly, you talk about the ebbs and flows. Is the reason to be optimistic that maybe, you talk about the downside with Cam happening right now, maybe he gets out of that just in time for you guys to get into postseason play, and maybe he'll be hot when it matters most?
Let's hope. That's what the plan is. And he's a good hitter, and he's an unbelievable kid, and he works his tail off. And you still got to remember, I mean, he's a freshman. I know it's hard to say a freshman at the end of the year because everybody's kind of older now, but it's going through this gauntlet of a league. It beats on you a little bit, and he's going to have to respond, but he has all year long. And like I said, the talent's through the roof, and the makeup, the work ethic, he brings it every day. I'm a big fan of Cam.
Steve, you can wrap us up.
It seems like even when Callum Clark gets out as of late, he's hitting absolute lasers and really barreling balls up. Earlier in the year, it was a little different scenario. Sometimes he didn't even get the bat off the shoulder. When do you think it changed, and why do you think it changed, and what do you expect from him down the stretch?
Well, one, he came in with all the accolades, kind of was a slow start here. He works with Goat every day, and about 2.5, 3 weeks ago, I remember Goat coming into the office and said, man, something's clicking with Kellum. And that's where we started trying to get him in a little bit more. And you could see it in his BPs. And he had a tendency to be a little bit more uppercut, trying to hit it up in the air, and realized he didn't have to. And when he made that switch, man, his swing took off, because he's always been a great strike zone discipline guy too. So you love having him in there because he doesn't swing out of the zone too much. I mean, he probably needs to swing more sometimes. But he doesn't swing out of the zone. And when he's hitting balls and pulling balls and getting the head out, I mean, he had probably the best swing tonight, or one of the best swings tonight, on the line out to right. So it's hard to keep him out of the lineup. And for a big body kid, he really moves well too. I don't know if you notice him going first to third or running bases. You get a lot out of Callum Clark.